Well, go on, people. Bless up on yourself. We here with another update. And people, we want to touch on this Vybz Kartel. Why he's still behind bars and he's not free. You know, a lot of people are wondering how come Vybz Kartel. Well, if the Privy Council, quash Vybz Kartel and his co-accusers, you know, that verdict. Why isn't Vybz Kartel a free man? He and his co-accusers. You know what I mean? But I think the people they forgetting to overlook that even though when the case was brought to the Privy Council and it got quashed, the Privy Council, right? They made the decision to send back the case even though they quashed it when it reached the Privy Council, but they sent it back to Jamaica, right? It was remitted back to Jamaica for the Jamaica, you know, high courts, all right, or court of appeal to decide whether they're gonna retry Vybz Kartel, all right, or if they're gonna overturn, that verdict they had passed to. So it's gonna be a retrial or a mistrial. You know, if they decide to not go with it, like take Vybz Kartel, you know, to the courts again. You know what I mean? But until that day, June 10th, no one is gonna know exactly what's gonna be the outcome. All right. No, we saw Vybz Kartel lawyer Isaac Buchanan file habeas corpus, right, for the immediate release of his client. I guess since the verdict got overturned. No, since the verdict got quashed, right, by the Privy Council. But like I said, people, you have to take into consideration the case was remitted back to Jamaica for the Jamaican courts to decide whether, they're going to go ahead with a retrial or, like I said, they're going to free Vybz Kartel, whatever the case may be. So the only reason I can see he filed in a habeas corpus, right, is because, let's say, come June 10th, right, this is the only reason I can see why Isaac Buchanan file this habeas corpus now, even though it's kind of like for the immediate release, of your client. But Vybz Kartel is still behind bars, and since we waiting on June 10th, we're gonna know if they're gonna, retry him if he have other charges pending, if they're gonna, try Vybz Kartel and his co-accusers for the same charges that they had on him before the Privy Council, quash this case and all these things. So, on the only grounds or the only way I see Isaac Buchanan filing this habeas corpus and it's going to work, or Vybz Kartel could be a free man, I guess, until, if they decide to do a retrial, until we get the retrial and we get the verdict. So, the reason why I think he filed the habeas corpus is because come June 10th, let's say when, the courts of appeal in Jamaica decide, they give their ruling whether they're going to retry Vybz Kartel, right? Then Isaac Buchanan being, that lawyer that's fighting for Vybz Kartel based on his rights, his human rights or civil rights being, violated, could say, well, Vybz Kartel is, public figure, known worldwide, so he's not a flight risk. Plus, he have health issues, and all these things and all these things. So he would want his client to be released immediately from prison, to take care of his health and all these things while going to court for the retrial. You know what I mean? That's the only way I see this habeas corpus filing could be, used or be effective. Because as of right now, filing the habeas corpus doesn't mean Vybz Kartel is going to be a free man. No, not at all. Right? But I think they filing it in pursuit of um, June 10th. If the courts of appeal in Jamaica decide to take Vybz Kartel to a next, to the retrial, the next case, then Isaac Buchanan, like I said, he could say, well, okay, judge, since, we're going to go over this case again, my client, he already served time in prison, blah, 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 whatever, you know. And like I said, based on his sickness and his health issues and all these things, he could, file that application, and hopefully the judge say, well, yeah, and grant him, or grant Vybz Kartel bond, so at least he could be out in, the free world while still going to court if they was to do a retrial. You know what I mean? But on the other hand, if it's not a retrial, and I guess the courts of appeal say, well, look, we're not going to go through this again because it's too much money, it's wasted the taxpayers' money, so we're not going to prolong this case and all these things. But on the other hand, you have to look at it, because this is definitely, a game changer here. You know what I mean? Because remember, it's not just Vybz Kartel is incarcerated, or convicted of this charge and this crime. You have co-accusers. You know what I mean? So if Vybz Kartel get free, that means everyone else is co-accusers, right? Possibly might walk free if they don't have other charges that can be stick on them, right? To keep them in prison. And while saying that, that's another sticky situation, because even if, let's say, Vybz Kartel wasn't there physically, right, when this crime was committed, but he orchestrated, then he would be, what they say, accessory to, to murder. And, this whole conspiracy thing could come in, right? But and that's what I'm saying. I'm really looking to see what's going to come out of this June 10th, because this is a technical case, because, like I said, it's not just Vybz Kartel. It's Vybz Kartel and his co-accusers. So did they charge Vybz Kartel per se for the crime? You understand what I'm saying? And if so, why does he have co-accusers? Meaning they probably had charges on them too, leading up to, this case, why they're in prison with Vybz Kartel, right? So it's a very sticky situation, a very sticky situation right now, But like I said, Vybz Kartel do road and walk free is going to definitely be a game changer, especially when it comes to Jamaica and the law, and how people view, the judicial system and all these things. But it's definitely going to be a case file where they're going to use this as, as if something was to happen again, I guess, with someone like a Vybz Kartel or in his statue. They would have something to reference to. But definitely, wow, man. Yeah, and I understand why people are curious to, why Vybz Kartel is not a free man. Why this? If the Privy Council, they quash, the case when they took it there and Ray. You have to remember that was Vybz Kartel lawyer, based on his rights being violated. They're saying, that certain rights was violated when it came to the case, when it came to this case with Vybz Kartel versus, the Jamaican Courts of Appeal. But they're not saying that the evidence that was brought against Vybz Kartel in the case, was overturned or that needs to be thrown out. At least that's not what I got from it. So maybe, if someone can try to help me understand that part, that would be good, and that would be helpful. But as of right now, what I'm getting is, no, they just squash it based on the mishap or the mishandling of the case. But there's still grounds there, and that's why Vybz Kartel is not a free man, because there's grounds there where he was charged and convicted of this crime. If you guys understand what I'm saying. See, so he's still being charged with those charges, for this crime. You know what I mean? So that's why we have to wait till June 10th to see what the Jamaican Courts of Appeal is going to say and how they, going to handle this situation, or how they going to go about, this situation or this case with Vybz Kartel. You know what I mean? So, and I think I've said this before. We have to wait till June 10th. So when you see people talking and this and blah, 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 I mean, it's Vybz Kartel. People just going to talk and they're going to have their viewpoints. And it's social media. So, people going to do things for views and, build their channel and platforms and all these things. But, I mean, you just got to use, your brain and pick sense from nonsense and, and just think. Think about it. Why, if the Privy Council quash Vybz Kartel and his co-accusers, the case when it was brought to the Privy Council, why they still in prison? They still in prison because they never say freedom. They send the case back to Jamaica for the Jamaican courts to decide whether they're going to free them or whether they're going to take them to another another trial. So I don't know what's so technical about that, but I don't know. You know what I mean? That's what I got from the verdict from the Privy Council. And that's why Vybz Kartel is not a free man. And that's why we have to wait till, June 10th. So, hopefully this video, for the people them who probably, it's not clear to them and, you're still wondering why Vybz Kartel is behind bars and why, he's not a free man as of right now and all these things. That's the reason why. We just have to wait till June 10th to see, what's going to happen. And like I said, his lawyer filing the habeas corpus, right? It can use to say, well, if they have a retrial, they're going to take Vybz Kartel to trial again, right? That's the Jamaican, courts of appeal. Then the lawyer can say, well, okay, we filed this application on the release of my client, based on this, based on that, blah, 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 blah. He could get bond, his health issues, this, but the wrongful conviction and all of that other part, I don't know about that. But there's certain, things or grounds I think they could file for bond. And hopefully, like I said, Vybz Kartel could be fighting this case if it's a retrial, right? Not from behind bars, but, being, out the road and still able to go to court until, like I said, we get the next verdict. But that's if we get a retrial. All right. So with that said, people, bless upon yourself. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you're new. And yeah, I'll check with you guys on another one. All right. Well, I'll go and stay blessed. I'm out.